Welcome to Dump Stock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. A wire-to-wire win for the Warriors, only the second of the season, and they have now won 12 out of their last 15 games. With Zena, Keita, I'm Kerith, Burke. How you guys doing? We're feeling pretty good. That was a very fun show that led into us. The Warriors got some help with their 14-0 start. They had a nice run to this game, helped them have that wire-to-wire win. They were ready to play at the Garden.
They started out immediately, and Steph Curry was setting the tone. 3 threes in the first 3 minutes.
Okay.
And then you also saw some really great defensive efforts immediately out the gate. This is something that the Warriors have struggled with, right? Coming out, starting a little bit timid sometimes. Tonight, the Knicks were aware of their competition as soon as the game started.
There you go. Let's talk about Steph a little bit, because against the Wizards, he arrived at 18 points, but he didn't have the kind of Steph Curry night that you wanted to see from him, inefficient. So what happens after Steph has a game where he doesn't really like it? Or, maybe, we've talked a few times about how it feels like he's looking tired. Steph said no, but that storyline has persisted. Heck, Monty Poole and I were on the Dub Stock podcast talking about the best time in this road trip to get him a rest night.
Right.
Steph said, no, I'm not going to rest. Yeah. No, I'm going to put a show on at the Garden. 31 points, 8 threes, but he was doing a little bit of everything, getting teammates involved. And how about his rebounds tonight?
That was what stood out to me, Kerith. He almost had a season high in the first quarter. Okay. He had 7 rebounds in the first quarter. His season high is 10. He obviously tonight closed out with 11. But he was doing everything that you expected him to do as the leader of this team. And something about the magic at the Garden for him. He always shows up. He always is energized. And something not only from his offensive game, his defensive game, the battle inside with those guards. He knew that Josh Hart was going to go to the basket. He knew that Donte DiVincenzo was going to go to the basket. He was doing everything he needed to do to make sure that those two were diffused. And man, he showed up.
Sometimes I was watching Donte DiVincenzo guard Steph. Just feeling like sorry for him. No offense, Donte, because he has that intimate knowledge of being Steph's former teammate, guarding him in scrimmages in practice, and now he's got to do it like for real in a game. Did you see that clip? That it was like, why'd you have to have that?
I know.
Why'd you have to do that to me? Just poor Donte, running ragged. Listen, hey, credit to Donte, because the leaders for shooting threes in the NBA, Steph, Luka, Donte, and then Clay. So it was pretty interesting that 3 out of the 4 top shooters in the NBA for 3 points were on the floor tonight. Donte, however, 2 of 12 in this one, just one of the ways the Warriors frustrated him as well. Okay, so next on the schedule when it comes for Steph is that back-to-back against the Raptors. Last time they played the Raptors was January 7th. Okay, Scotty Barnes was chirping Steph the whole time. Steph only had 9 points. He was 2 of 14, 0 for 9. So if Steph responded like this at the Garden, and Steph maybe has another okay, I've got one more redemption game in me. Watch out, Raptors.
If history does its thing, he's going to show up.
Okay.
Because he does. One thing that I've learned about Stephen Curry in this very short time, he pays attention. And he has the elephant memory, right? He will keep things in the back of his mind and go, oh, you said what?
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned this.
Yeah.
Apparently Draymond does too. But there is this element of, I want to make sure that I get a chance to redeem myself.
Yeah.
And, if he doesn't rest, I was one of those people that thought he was tired too, but thank you for proving me wrong, Steph.
Okay.
But if he doesn't rest, he'll definitely have a game tomorrow, I think, against the Raptors.
Okay, listen, it is going to be difficult. It's a back-to-back. I do remember that you have to cross the border. You have to go through customs. They're going to get in late, whatever. Okay, we're not saying Steph has to be a superhero. But you're right. I think he's going to remember that Raptors game and be like, ooh, that was a bad one. For the team as well. That was a 15-point loss at home to the shorthanded Raptors. RJ Barrett had a season-high 37. You don't want that to happen on your floor. So I think the Warriors are looking forward to this one. I would say Steph Curry is, especially as well.
I would agree.
Jonathan Kaminga. All right, Draymond Green gave him a really nice compliment afterward, because Draymond has gotten a lot of credit for the Warriors' success since he returned. He said, I think we're winning because of the growth of JK. What a compliment from a veteran to a younger player, and I think he's right.
He's absolutely right. And that's the biggest thing that Jonathan Kuminga has been able to do this year, is evolve. We are literally getting to see a young player's game develop into not just an offensive product, a person that can get to a spot, that can get a bucket when you need him to. You're also seeing a young player that's learning how to be in the right spots on the court on both sides of the ball. He is being responsible. He is being patient. He is seeing his teammates, and he is timing blocks like this. I mean, it's beautiful to see someone not only evolve in their game, but evolve in their confidence. You saw him coming down the court tonight, especially in that fourth quarter when he got 2 and 1s back to back for himself, laughing.
Yeah.
Enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Skipping back to the free throw line.
Yeah.
How wonderful is it to see a player come into his own, especially considering just 2-3 months ago, he was on the bench. It's surreal to think what we've been able to be witness to is this player just shedding. It's like a snake shedding his skin, and he has just come out and become deadly. It's amazing.
Well, some of this is the coaching staff having to come to was it a hard realization that Jonathan Kuminga was this kind of player, that he needed this? Like, there's some criticism involved here too a little bit, but JK has emerged, and you're right, he was coming from a place where he made it clear via multiple channels that he was unsure of his role. Like, what is going on here? Yep. And now he's been unleashed. That's coincided with Draymond's return as well. JK is our BMW ultimate performer. You saw some of that video. Over the last 2 games, so on this road trip, the Wizards and tonight, 22 for 32. He's only attempted 1 3-point shot. That's all he needed to attempt. He didn't make it, but that's okay, because his bread and butter has been inside. The Warriors needed this kind of threat at the rim.
Yep. They did. They needed a presence inside, and they not only did they need a presence inside, they needed another person that you could count on to get a bucket. Because Stephen Curry was the magician, right? He was the one that if you were stressed about, oh, we need a bucket at the end of a quarter, we need a bucket to get us going, we need some sort of splurge, right, from an offensive perspective, he was the person. And now you've got a Jonathan Kaminga that now can score at any level, really, if he really wants to, but he's being smart, and he doesn't need to score outside the arc. He knows they can't guard me. They can't guard me when I'm going inside. They can't do what I can do, especially when it comes to elevation. So when it comes to his turnaround jump shot, he's elevating a foot off the ground and releasing at the top of his shot. It's beautiful. And so when you know something like that, and you know that you can do that at any spot in the floor, that's what the Warriors needed. And it's really exciting to be able to add that to the Curry bucket.
I like looking at the box score and seeing his field goal attempts too, and how efficient he is. He's not afraid to take these shots. They're high percentage shots. He's right behind Steph as far as who's taking the most shots right now. It's either him or Clay generally. Let's show you a piece of tape. Okay, this is from the young guys because we need to give Moody some love for this one too. Moody starts this play. Okay, that's Alec Burks. He swats him away.
Love it.
Take it to JK. Look at these defenders around him. There's 3 people chasing him. That was through Brunson.
Unreal.
Look at,
Unreal. The force with which Jonathan Kaminga is coming at the basket right now would have had anyone else fully bricking that.
And
off.
the wink. Did you?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, come on. Okay.
This is the swagger I'm talking about. This is the swagger we're getting to see Jonathan Kaminga come into his own. And he's like, I'm him.
Yes.
I'm him. But I'm telling you about that particular play, him coming to the basket with that level of force and still finding a way while someone is undercutting him.
That's Brunson nudging him.
To kiss it off the glass enough so that it ball goes in. If it was me, bonk, bonk, right off the glass.
Okay.
Somebody else is getting that ball, maybe cleaning it up for me.
Okay.
But that's the average player because that's a lot of velocity going downhill.
Yeah.
And he has such body control to be able to say, I got to beat 3 defenders that are trying to chase me. And now I have to gather myself, get my core tight. Y'all know those planks. I'm sure he's doing some core abs exercises. Get my core tight, get my body up, and kiss it right off the glass and one.
And smile. And smile.
Wink.
I just got word that we have Steph Curry, so why don't we take a look, listen to Steph postgame.
He was huge. His first thing coach mentioned when he came in the locker room after the game. Obviously, without Wiggs in that starting rotation, you have to have somebody come in with a defensive mindset, and with that assignment, how well Jalen's been playing all year. You're not gonna. I mean, he might still get his numbers, but you make him work, and that helps us on both sides of the floor. So those are the little things that a guy like Moses can do to help change a game and take advantage of the opportunity that he has, with Wiggs up. They're showing it. Like, we came in the season with an idea of what our team was going to look like, and then with the Draymond out for a minute and CP out for 4 weeks, everybody's had an opportunity to kind of show what they can do, understanding how we play and understanding the little nuances that our system and our way, our style can be a fun way to play. And we've obviously made adjustments, and obviously you said JK and the way that he's been featured and, putting the ball in his hands, allowing him to make plays. You need guys to step up and be consistent, and that's what they've been doing. So I obviously feel, very confident in our ability to win any game on any given night. We just have to keep stacking, these good performances together. Doesn't mean you're going to win every game, but I think the identity, that's why I always say, are we forming an identity? And I think we are. He's had him ever since he's gotten here. I think it just helps when you have a consistent run where you can put the words and the lessons you're learning into action and go through some of the reps, on a nightly basis. And so on JK to be open to that coaching. He knows it's coming from a good place. He knows it's trying to help him get better. And then, he has to go implement it. So I like that relationship, that chemistry, and knowing that it's working. How much do you enjoy playing here? It's always fun. Like, this is a special place. It's I always talk about the basketball history that's happened here. I've had some good nights here. 2 years ago was special. So there's just a different energy every time you come into the city, into the building. I think it really honestly helped us that 20-4 start, just because we were kind of buzzing and flying around, and wanted to take advantage of our one night that we come out here.
The night when you have people that come clearly great.
I always do, whether they go in or not. You live with it, but just take shots that you're confident taking. It's nice to, especially on the road, like, it helps to kind of get off to a hot start like that. But every night I'm hoping that that's the way it starts, whether it does or not. I was only played with him for 1 year, but really got to know him well. He was a great friend, great teammate. He is a true professional in the way he approaches everything. Honestly, I didn't know the influence on his shot and what he picked up the year that we were playing together. It was cool to kind of hear his perspective on what he did learn and take away, and how he's been utilizing it this year. He's shooting the ball like crazy. So that's been fun to watch and see. He did call me about his free agency kind of decision and whatnot. And I said before, having a trust of somebody who values your opinion, and you hopefully can, give them confidence on a decision like that, where you're signing up to play for 4 years. Like, it's a big deal. So I definitely appreciate the relationship there.
Obviously, you've drawn a lot of comparisons, or she's drawing comparisons to you. She has her own deal right now. She's with the plans to pitch her on the Under Armour.
Oh, absolutely.
What's the pitch look like there?
I'll make sure she hears it from me first. But it's a match made in heaven, if you ask me.
Someone just who signed with Under Armour? Sorry, I don't know if that was supposed to be on camera. I just missed that. Was it Sabrina? Was it?
No, she's still Nike.
She's with Nike, isn't she?
We'll figure that out.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I was like, was it Brianna Stewart? I don't think that was it either.
No.
Okay. Interesting to hear Steph Curry talk about identity. There are 24 games left in the season. I would imagine the Warriors wanted to have that identity kind of shored up a little earlier. Sure. But hey, they're finally healthy now. They're finally finding some consistency. Okay, identity's born out of that.
I agree with him. I think that the Warriors' identity prior to Draymond Green's suspension was a few things. It was they're a team that has spurts of greatness. They're a team that has some mental lapses. They're a team that has veterans that aren't playing like themselves. They're a team with youth that has potential. And if all else fails, Steph Curry will try and bail them out. Mm-hmm. That was their identity, really, because the lack of consistency in everything was an issue. Mm-hmm. Now you're starting to see a team whose two-timeline theory is working well. Vets that have come back and are playing like themselves. Vets that are willing to switch and mold themselves to what is necessary for team success. Mm-hmm. A team that doesn't need to be carried by by Steph Curry, because they have youth like a Jonathan Kaminga and a Brandon Pajemski and a Trace Jackson Davis and a Moses Moody. Yeah. This is starting to mold together into an identity of they're a real threat. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited.
Sure. That identity can forge at any time when it looks this good, and the Warriors have a lot to be encouraged by. When we come back on Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World, we need to talk about the bench effort tonight. One of the leaders from the bench, Chris Paul. He was at the podium too. This is awesome. What a night. Hear from Chris Paul. Coming up.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Mancini Sleep World. Visit us during our spring clearance sale. Save big on premium mattresses, plus free delivery. Hurry in now or visit us online at sleepworld.com.
All right, let's see here.
Oh, no.
Who is it?
We're still trying to figure it out.
We are still trying to. Who is that Under Armour question about?
He said she'll
Was it
hear
AZ Fudd, right? No, that's or okay.
He said that he'll hear it from him first. So I'm not sure what that
So
means.
who? Okay. Sorry, no, we're on a tangent now, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you,
we are
everybody,
trying to
for
figure
joining
this
us on
out.
YouTube. We appreciate you. Katrina, Vince, Dee, Sue, Peter. Somebody named Clown Man. Oh, I can't wait for your comments. Maybe you're super cool. Maybe I should give you some more credit. I don't know. Thank you, everybody. Dee says the bench has been showing up. You are absolutely right. That's kind of the deal when you've got two Hall of Famers in Clay and Chris Paul right there. And then every now and then sprinkle somebody else in, like Gary Payton, depending on matchups. Maybe Kevon Looney. Trace Jackson Davis, I feel, had some good spot minutes tonight. Yeah, good stuff. The bench has a lot to be encouraged by as well, because the Warriors want to be a 1-2 punch. They want a very effective starting unit, but then you need to have people who can help you keep leads when you build them.
Yeah, speaking of Trace Jackson Davis, there was that one play that he had where he saw two people coming to get him as he was cutting in after a screen. He rolled to an open dunker spot. He was coming to the block, saw that Miles McBride was about to pick him up and help, and he saw Chris Paul wide open in the corner without even hesitating. Pass to Chris Paul, that's a three in the corner. That level of floor vision, patience, just basketball IQ from a rookie, you love to see. And him being able to do that without getting an offensive foul, because that's usually the issue, is that when you come over from a help player, very beautiful play.
Good. Somebody saying AZ Fudd and Kelsey Plum are both with Under Armour.
Save.
Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Without any pause, why don't we just get to Chris Paul? We'll talk about him afterward. Let's listen to CP3.
Moses did a great job. Also, the bigs, Draymond always does a great job, but just because when you guard Jalen, it's hard to guard him one-on-one, takes team defense. But Moses, it was a block that he got on Jalen that rarely happens because Jalen does such a great job of creating space. But it's tough guarding him for a full game, but guys did a great job.
What kind of growth did you see, Jonathan, when you were from the sideline when you were out, and then how was it those last couple games?
JK is so talented because he works. You know what I mean? He works on his game all the time. And It's probably a little frustrating for him earlier in the season because he had a bunch of us vets sort of on him all the time. But I think it's one of those things where you just see all the things he's capable of, and to see him putting it together at this time of the year has been really dope. Feel good. Feel good. It's nothing like getting out there playing, especially with our team. We got so many different ways that we are able to play with our team. And I think the spirit is right, and we just got to keep playing the right way.
What does having Trace out there? How do you feel about that? What is it?
There's a lot for the team. The pressure that he puts on the rim. There's things that he does at times when he runs the court, and guys know he's a live threat, and that may get a guy open shot. You know what I mean? But Trace, coach is hard on him sometimes about just running the court, running hard. And I think Trace has the ability to not only do that, but change shots. And like I said, he's been a great addition to our team. Well, I think we done had a lot of guys have DNPs. You know what I mean? I think coach said that we play 11 guys some nights, which is hard to do, especially in this league. But BP, he's a guy that stays ready. If you look at the stat sheet, sometimes you don't see, really what he did. He leads the league in charges, I think, which is crazy for a rookie. So he plays hard, he rebounds, and he's been great for us.
Talking about Podziemski right there. Before we talk about the bench, one more thing to talk about with Moody, because Steve Kerr, JK, Steph, and CP3, so everybody who went to the podium tonight, made a point to praise Moses Moody. And he deserved it. That's the most important thing. This isn't them just like, rah, rah, kid, okay, because they know that he's going back on the bench for the next game. No, he's in the starting lineup right now while Andrew Wiggins is out, and Moody is making his impact on both sides of the ball.
It's a really great observation, and that happens when you do the right things. You don't have to be the highest scorer. You don't have to be the highest rebounder, but you are someone that puts the highest amount of input in terms of impact on the game. And that's what Moses Moody has done in the time that he's had with Wiggins out. He has taken advantage of this opportunity every single time he's gone out. He's done something positive. In this game, he struggled to score. He was 0-5 from the three-point line versus the 4 of 7 that he was in the last outing. That can hit your confidence and impact the other elements of your game. It didn't. For him, he saw, okay, maybe this isn't the way I'm going to impact tonight's game. Let me do what I'm supposed to do. And this is what everyone praises Moses Moody about, a true professional. How many times have we heard that?
Every year.
Every
old soul, professional. Yeah.
A true professional. This is what he does. And he came out and he did what he was supposed to do, which was frustrate Jalen Brunson.
Yes, he had the task of guarding an all-star, one of the powerhouses in the East. And he made it a difficult night for Jalen Brunson. You could see it on his face, like looking at his face. All right, CP3, 11, 4, and 6. Those 6 assists. For a point guard who's coming back after a hand injury, I always wonder, does he need a little bit of time? Nope. And Chris Paul is doing exactly what the Warriors brought him to do. Organize that second unit, make it look real pretty, and it sure is.
I love what Kalena Azubuike said tonight about Chris Paul. There's no rust on him. You would never have guessed, looking at the way he plays, the way he runs, the way he watches his teammates and finds opportunities for them, that he had missed 21 games. There's been no skip in his action, what he's capable of. And so it's a blessing for the Warriors to be able to have that level of poise coming off the bench to back up a Steph Curry.
Yeah, you never want an injury to cause somebody to have lingering things, but no, he's looking very fresh at a time when the team needs him, because the Warriors are trying to march up the standings. We need to talk about these standings, where they sit, what the Warriors' goal is, so that will be next on Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Here we go.
I see what you're doing there.
Slam! All right, we're we're back on YouTube. I think Oz is the way I say this. Steph is really going to carry us to the 6th lead. I don't care what anyone says, but it's Steph and company now.
Yes.
I would have said like, yeah,
Correct.
okay, Steph is going to try to hoist them on the shoulders again, but he doesn't have to do all the load by himself right now.
But that's exactly what I was talking about with the identity. That was the identity. Steph is going to do it all.
Save us, Steph!
Steph is going to carry the team like a backpack all the way to wherever they need to go. And now it doesn't have to be that. They can share the load. And as Chris Paul mentioned about Trayce Jackson-Davis, what Draymond is saying about JK, you hearing this theme of these veterans being so proud, being so enamored by their younger players, being just in love with the evolution of their games at the key time of the season. It's perfect timing. So yes, Steph is going to do a lot of things, but he don't have to do it alone. That's the great part.
All right, I'm looking at some of this other stuff. Yes, I see you, Oz. The bench is showing up, Katrina says. Andaz is saying they're really going to have to go back to strength in numbers. Yeah, we're seeing strength in numbers right now. Well, when you play,
it's been a while.
Gosh, when you play like 11 or 12 deep, though, and that's not going to be the case in the postseason. Kerr really tightens things up to 8 or 9. But when you have 10 or 11 who have demanded minutes, who have earned minutes, this is going to be tough.
And that's exactly
some of our faves.
Demanded minutes.
Some of our faves will not be getting playing time.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think. This isn't hockey. It's not 5 in, 5 out. It's going to be rotations. Yeah.
Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live. This wire-to-wire win made the Warriors arrive at 31-27. Gosh, it's nice not talking about being 500 anymore. 4 games above 500. They're in the 9 spot right now. The goal for the Warriors is to reach 6th. They have 24 games left. How are you feeling about their chances right now, Zena, when you consider how well the Warriors are playing?
When I look at these standings, and I particularly look at who is above them, the Sacramento Kings, to me, are still one of those teams that's a little bit suspect in their ability to get themselves to the postseason. To me, they have done some really, really great things, but they're not consistent. To me, they're still building an identity that's capable of being successful in the postseason. So I look at that, I'm like, that's an opportunity. Slide up. Dallas Mavericks, very, 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 very dependent upon Luka and his ability to perform. If anything happens with Luka in terms of his ability not to perform one night, as they finish out these Western Conference games, they could slide out too. Right now, the benefit that the Warriors have is that it's not just Curry anymore, where if he doesn't have a great night, there's a possibility they won't win. The fact that they do have that strength in numbers, more players playing well around them, I think that gives them a chance to move up the rankings.
Okay, the chase is on again. The Warriors 12-3 in their last 15. Some extremely encouraging things. The road trip marches on with the second night of a back-to-back. It's going to be tough. It's against the Raptors, and we will see you tomorrow for that one. Thanks for watching Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World.
Girl!
He's counting me down. I nailed it. All right.
Killed that.
All right. Thank you. Vince C says, Zena, I agree. The Kings are suspect. Pelicans also. Interesting. Now, I'm hesitant to talk about a Mike Brown coach team that way, but the Kings have had some of the same types of losses that the Warriors have had.
Correct.
So, I mean, that does come to mind.
Correct.
So if they don't clean it up the way the Warriors have, then the Kings could get bit.
And the Kings have also, and then here's the thing.
Yeah.
The Kings have also had those type of losses, and they've also had the types of close games and mental lapses that the Warriors had.
Yeah.
Here's the difference. The Warriors were having those mental lapses and those type of losses before Draymond came back, before the consistency returned, before all of these things were piecing together. The Warriors right now are a different team.
Yeah.
The Kings are the same team. Now, don't get me wrong. They did have a period of time where they didn't have De'Aaron Fox. He came back, and that was really the only missing piece. And they haven't really changed. And so I'm looking at a evolving. I keep saying evolving. It's just like this different blossoming Golden State Warriors team right at the right time. You hate to see it if you're the teams above them because you're just like, we've been who we are all season. Mm-hmm. This is like they just got new transfers within their own roster.
Yeah, that is interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a little scary.
That's scary.
That's a little scary. So I think that's what makes me think that the Sacramento Kings, even though they do have those similarities, you have to think contextually of what those similarities, where they came from, how much they've evolved from them, and how much has really changed for them. Warriors, Kings looking real different.
Okay. The Warriors have transformed lately. Okay. And they keep marching up the standings.
I agree.
All righty. We will see you tomorrow. I got to get out of here. So deuces. Bye, everybody.